Hi guys, Coach Dylan here, back again with another MVP Friday. Today we have someone who is absolutely sort of blown my mind and what she has done in a short period of time. And also just with a bit of style and flair, and I really like the way she's gone about her branding. So MVP Friday is always my favorite day of the week. So if you are watching this on our YouTube, on our podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get these, because guys, every single week with our MVP Friday, we're taking someone who's been there, done it, and is doing it right now. You know, this is the shit that's working today. It's what's going to work tomorrow. And it's exactly from someone who is having success with this. So today we have Madie Rebelo. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Cool, mate. And currently it looks like you're sitting in your gym, or are you at home at the moment?
I am. I'm sitting in my gym.
Stick. Tell us a little bit about that, mate. How did that come about?
Yeah, so it wasn't really planned. I have been working out of a commercial gym now, only really for 8 months. I started doing group classes about 2 years ago. Then sort of something just switched in my brain one day and I was like, I could be doing this. I was pretty much running the whole gym myself and I was like, I need to go do this by myself, make my own money. So I went to World Gym, started my PT business 8 months ago, online, skyrocketed, got very, very lucky. And yeah, now we've been presented an opportunity with our own gym, me and my partner. So it all happened within a month.
That's a pretty wild ride, isn't it? Sometimes when you're on, and you just got to roll with it, which is
everything
cool.
Just kept falling in place.
Yeah, and I question you on this quite often, because you always say like you got lucky and you know you don't necessarily feel like you work that hard, but I think underneath it all you probably do a lot more than you think. But mate, let's dial it right back to where you started. So you actually started training, I think, with Brad Bedford a long time ago.
Yeah, I was at one of his gyms. So he was my personal trainer.
Yep.
And then when I was old enough, he was training me when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got old enough, did my certs, I moved to one of his facilities still in Perth that he half owned.
Yeah, so basically like you started, how old are you now, sorry?
21.
Yeah, cool. So about 7 years ago, you sort of got your introduction. You're working in or training in a group facility.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Did you start to sort of help out Brad with some of the stuff in the facility, or what were you doing there?
To be honest, he looked after me. My mum was a member at his gym. When I was younger, had a really bad eating disorder. So my mum brought me into that gym space as a safe zone. And he just took me under his wing. To be honest, I don't think I even paid a membership. He just looked after me. Yeah. He just let me train with my mum, and then it just got more and more serious. I kept showing up more and more and loved it even more. My mum got a severe injury. She broke her ulnar and her radius at the same time. And then I just took over her membership and started paying from there. I used to work 2 jobs to afford his $100 a week membership. And that's where all my money would go.
What drove you, or what made you feel like, hey, look, I'm going to work 2 jobs to spend $100 a week on training at, still in your teenage years?
Look, I don't think it was me getting a job to pay for a gym membership is why I did it. My mum has always drilled, you work for your money, you work for what you want, into me and my sister. So we got jobs as soon as we were allowed to. And that's just where my money was. And I was making $150, $200 a week. And I just was like, well, I'm not doing anything else. So why not just put my money towards that?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like that value that your mum sort of installed, how do you think that's sort of driven you to where you are now?
Oh, it's made me the person I am today. 100%. My mum's a manager in the mining industry, which is obviously quite big here in WA. So I've grown up with her as a single mum, working from home, working big days. So that's just what I thought was normal. So yeah, like you said before, I definitely work hard, but I just always feel like I can do more because my standards up here.
Absolutely. It's really interesting, and so from a young age, you've obviously seen your mum work really, really hard, and then one of the things you probably don't even realize how hard you're working yourself. So from that, and you say hey, my standards are up here. you know, if we were to sort of just zoom out right now, like you're doing better than 99% of the entire fitness industry. You're doing better than 99% of probably any 21-year-old in Australia as well, I guarantee it. What if your standards are so high, where does that actually end up? What are you sort of looking to do?
Good question. I have no idea. And that's probably a downfall on me. I've never planned anything. And I think when I was working with you one-on-one deal, you sort of would have seen that too. I'm not a huge goal setter. I like to just work as hard as I can and see what happens.
So more of a focus on the process?
Yeah, 100%. I think as long as I'm putting in, like ticking off those daily negotiables, putting in 100% every single day. I think when I started at Mumba, my goal was like 30 clients and now I've got 130. So it's like, what's next? 150, you know? So I think setting goals is really good, but it's not something that's ever really worked for me because I'm so harsh on myself. So I find just writing a to-do list, getting shit done is the best way of doing it. Because those little 1%ers every day is what gives you that long-term, you know, retention and result.
Absolutely. So when you said there, it's like, hey, look, cool, I'm so harsh on myself. Maybe how do you deal with that inner voice that is a bit mean to you?
Look, I don't really deal with it. I think I just don't let it be an option. Like I don't let myself fail. My partner could preach this to you all. I don't stop working till the job's done. If that means I'm taking calls at 9 o'clock at night, that's what I'm doing. But yeah, that's just where I'm at in life at the moment. I just want to work hard for it. And yeah, me and Jai now have the gym as well. So not only is it my workload, he's also a coach. It's also, we've got even more workload with growing this gym. So I guess it's just with the whole mindset side of things, it's going to be never ending, but you know, just making sure like the calendars are set up. If it is date night, just making sure the phone's actually turned off, making sure it's actually booked into the calendar, and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't let failure be an option.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it, mate. And I think like, because one of the things like that often, you know, you've said is like, oh, it's just sort of all happened and I sort of roll with it. But something you just said there is like, hey, look, if I'm taking sales calls at 9 p.m., I'm taking sales calls at 9 p.m. You know, it's getting that job done and just getting the work done. And sort of now, okay, let's start to look back to where this all started. So when you started as a personal trainer, what did that sort of look like? You're at World Gym?
Yep, I was at World Gym and I was shit scared. I used to manage WA for elite subs. So I had a very good role. I was making, again, good money for my age. I just got in my first rental. I actually just bought myself a brand new car. And then the week after all that happened, that's when I sort of went, I'm going to quit my job and see what I can do. So that I had money I needed to make. And I think that's why I did so well so fast. I was very fortunate to be in the industry as a client myself. So I knew a lot of people and I asked a lot of questions. I have this one friend in particular. She was doing very well at the time. I went out for coffee with her, got all her advice, paid her $50 for the hour because obviously I valued her service so much. And yeah, I was fully booked out in 4 weeks doing 30 sessions a week.
That's fucking wild. Yeah. No, how good. So in terms of that, what questions did you ask this friend just out of interest?
Just things like, you know, more contractual things. So like when I sign a client up, how do I lock them in? How do I make this income a consistent income instead of upfront payments? Because I think you'll find as like if we're all in the gym industry, like in the actual PT industry, not just online coaching, every PT has a different structure. A lot of people like the upfront payments. Personally, I like to lock them in, keep the retention high, and keep their money coming in weekly. So just her advice on that. Her advice on like community culture, how to build culture with such a one-on-one service. How do you build that culture within your girls? Which is something I've done really, really well. So yeah, just simple questions. I think it was all just hesitation on my end and not believing in myself. But that was the first part where I was like, no, I can actually do anything I put my mind to. It's just hard work.
Fucking awesome.
And I
Yeah.
genuinely never walked the gym floor for my leads. It was all through social media. Like everyone always says walk the gym floor. Never did that. It was all social media.
Very good. Very, very good. So now we're sort of like within, I think you said 3 months you're booked out, or
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah, good.
In my rent-free period.
That's wild. So within 3 weeks, you're fully booked out in this commercial gym, and it's all come through social media. What were you doing with your social media, and how did people reach out to you? How did you reach out to them? What were you doing to sort of get these clients?
Yeah, so obviously I'd been training since I was 14 anyway. So I was putting all that information out on social media. I think just being a teenage girl, you share your whole life on social media anyway. So everyone knew I loved what I did. Everyone's seen my transformation. I was 41 kilos. I put on muscle. I had a good physique. I was in the bodybuilding space. So people were already quite interested in my journey. So I think because I spoke my story, people were interested and they were already bought into me before I even launched my business.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I was doing a little bit of online coaching on the side too, nothing serious. I think I was charging like $40 a week. I had like 4 or 5 clients, but I had those results already. So that was very important for me. I trained a lot of people for free. But the best thing I actually did was I had one girl that trained at my gym and she had over 12,000 followers on Instagram. I trained her for free 3 times a week, and we had a little contract in place where she posted for me. She promised me she was actually going to stick to the plan and get the results. She did. That's what actually kickstarted my business. And I did the exact same thing with my online coaching with another girl on Instagram.
Yeah, that ambassador sort of like marketing is absolutely huge. One of the girls, Shana Lee, she's doing it right now as well. She's got an ambassador with 1 million followers, and her Instagram is just blown up the last couple of weeks because of that. That's fucking awesome, Madie. And some of the things you sort of said there is like, if we were to unpack it, you know, you've been posting on social media for a while. You'd essentially built up this karmic bank. You know, you've got this equity in your audience. All you had to do was then go and, you know, basically withdraw it, which was very cool. Yeah. And how do you feel like your own personal story actually allowed you to connect with your audience?
I think every single 14-year-old girl goes through the same thing. Everyone compares themselves. Everyone has a shit high school life. Well, I mean, most people. But, you know, everyone's got something that to do with their body that they don't like. So as soon as you start sharing your insecurities, people are like, oh, that's normal. Madie feels that way, but she's overcome it. So I'm going to work with her because she already knows how to get over that problem. And that's when I really tapped into the whole grow your glutes. Everyone wants big glutes. It's such an easy market to be tapped into. And I was very lucky when I first started doing that. No one in Perth was really doing that. Everyone was just a Perth PT. No one had actually branded themselves or actually shared their avatar, actually like spoke to their avatar. So yeah, I was really the first like specialized female coach in my area that branded themselves that way. So I stood out like a sore thumb straight away.
No, that's magic. But also too, you're a product of the product, because you said you're in that bodybuilding scene. How did you push your own results to, like, obviously, and then share your journey? How do you what did you do in terms of showing your bodybuilding journey? And then obviously like growing a fucking incredible set of glutes, like how did you share that process so that people could see what you were doing?
Gosh, I think it just came naturally, just stories. I think keeping everyone updated, training videos. I never really did the whole how to do this or like, you know, Technique Tuesday or, you know, any of that shit. I never did that. I just kept it real raw and really just all about myself and my journey, with the odd client, you know, thing here and there. But yeah, pretty much just whenever I did a glute workout, got my tripod out. And honestly, my videos used to be horrendous. I cringe at them now, but yeah, it worked. And people care. Like, you think people don't care, but if they don't care, they just unfollow you anyway. So everyone on your platform does care and they're all watching. I think that's the most important thing to know.
Absolutely. Nah, like I could not agree more. Like just sharing that journey is the most powerful thing. And
Yeah.
as you sort of said, I think, you set yourself up as that brand that, hey, look, I'm the female glute development specialist in Perth. This is what I do, this is what I'm all in on. But hey, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna tell you, I'm just gonna show you.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
No one reads anything. My target audience, they don't care. They're not going to read a whole paragraph. They just want to be told, and they want the result without doing the work. So that's the avatar I'm working with. So,
So on the flip side of that, obviously, you had your first 30 clients and now you're at 130. One of the things I'd love to unpack, because were there any times going through that journey where you've had retention issues, or you maybe attracted clients you didn't really want to train? Was there any sort of times like that?
Look, I think you're always sitting on the edge of your end of your seat when you are doing personal training and you're just getting into it, because obviously you can lose your whole business at a drop of like a hat. COVID hits. I always found when interest rates went up here, I lost probably 12 to 15 clients. When uni goes back, that's another big one, because obviously I am working with younger females. Money is a problem.
Yep.
But look, I have set my business up to very much secure me. All my clients actually sign a 6-week notice of cancellation, which to some people, their jaw is on the floor when I tell them that. But I've never had someone tell me they're not going to sign it, and it secures me. So if I do have a bad month, I have 6 weeks to replace them. So my income doesn't change. It actually just goes up, because you have that fire in your belly. Okay, this is make or break. I have, 3 cancellations. I need to get these clients in. They come, and usually more come. So
how do you, because a lot of people will fixate on, oh fuck, I just lost 15 clients. Their world literally ends. Sometimes they're like, I've just lost 15 clients, my business has gone to shit. How do you flip that and say, actually, no, I've got to fucking work here, I've got to go? How do you make that switch?
I don't know, I just do. I think it comes very, very naturally to me. I have an expectation of where my business needs to stay at a minimum, and that's 100 clients. I will not let it go less than that. So yeah, I think I'm always looking for the opportunity, but also I know if for some reason it dropped below my expectations, I haven't been stupid with my money. My business will be fine. I think if you've got the back end set up, your business has money in it, you're smart, there's a cancellation period, there's not really much point stressing, because it's completely out of your control. People are going to leave, they're going to leave. You can obviously try. Actually, a thing I did start doing, which really, really helped, is when a client always sends that one-off message at 10 o'clock at night when they're just, sick of it, I actually get them to book a coaching call with me. That's a part of the cancellation period. So if they want to cancel with me, they actually need to call me and have a conversation with me, which gives me the opportunity to break up their problem that they're having and give them, another alternative, which could be a cheaper option. But it also could just be a change of mindset, set the fire off in their belly. And then they actually have to sign a cancellation form too. That's one thing I did that was game changer.
Yeah, that's gold. So
yeah,
what is your retention like? One of the coolest things you've done is like the way you are able to generate user-generated content, but also create, this Bodies by Madie community online. What are the things you've done to actually make that happen?
I think, again, just falling into the girls that I do work with, they're so social media and internet orientated. Naturally, when they're at the gym, they want to take a photo. They naturally tag me, because you're always taking photos of yourself. So I was very, very lucky. I've never, ever had to ask a client to post me or nothing. They all just do it naturally. My clients do train with me reels. They do get ready with me reels, tag me in it. I don't even ask for it. So I'm very, very lucky. But I think because I do that myself, they're training with me because I'm who they look up to. So they're kind of copying what I do.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do you see yourself as a leader?
Yeah, I do. I think I've always been a leader. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very, very clear, like that leadership and that just like, hey, look, this is what I do. You've just do it if you like. And then you showing the way, hey, this is what I do with my reels. They basically just copy. And one of the coolest things, I sort of talked about this the other day, is like, it's that peer perspective where, hey, look, you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of like where these girls want to be. You understand them, you get them, you've been through it. And then you just basically lead the way being you, which is fucking awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I do find it a little bit funny. Like, a lot of my girls are off studying their PT course now, and they don't understand the hard work and dedication it takes, but they see me as a result of a Cert 4 in fitness. Yeah. And they all want to come work at my gym and work underneath me, so it is really nice.
Absolutely. It's also too, I know your brain will already be ticking over of the different business opportunities in terms of coached by Madie Academy or something like that, which will probably be on the cards. But other little things, how do you keep tabs on all your clients online?
A lot of time. Look, everything's structured, I want to say. I do midweek check-ins. So I actually sit there and message every single one, every 130 client on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I check in with them midweek. Not only does that help retention, but it makes them feel valued as a client. It takes me 10 minutes. It's a copied and pasted message, and I literally have my True Coach here, my WhatsApp here, and I go through the names. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That is really good. And I've also noticed in my weekly check-ins, the girls say, I really appreciate that. Like, thank you so much for being there. When really I just copied and pasted the message. So I do that every single week. I also let my girls message me 24/7. And I think because I genuinely care about their results, like I stop working when the messages are responded to. I don't take 2 days to reply. I message throughout the whole day. So yeah, I think just making sure you're actually keeping communication open is a huge thing. With communication is open, then, everything's going to fall into structure naturally, because, you've got your check-in form, you've got your True Coach. If they understand what they need to do, they actually provide you the structure, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You're like, I was sort of saying this to Jesse before, like you're essentially the glue between what they've committed to and actually achieving the goal. You're just that person that holds them all together.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. So currently, you've got 130 online clients, and now you've how do you manage that? Like, what does it look like week to week when you're delivering programs? Do you deliver nutrition? Do you deliver check-ins? What do you do in terms of that?
Okay, so usually a week for me. I've dropped down PT to 2 days a week since a couple of weeks ago, just because I actually did the math, and my face-to-face clients get online included in their price. So if I was to drop, I think it was 9 girls down to online, it was only $150 difference income for me. So that's a no-brainer for me to get 3 days back of my week. So Mondays and Thursdays are 14-hour days. I'm here usually from about 4:30, 5 a.m. back to back, like literally one client in, one client out, until about 6 or 7 p.m. That's my Monday and Thursday. So obviously not a lot of work gets done, but in those 15 minutes between clients, messaging, you know how it is. On a Tuesday, Wednesday, I do programming. So it takes time to do a lot of clients' programs. But I usually get that done on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And on a Wednesday is when my clients book in for their check-in calls. So not only do I do the weekly check-in, but they have the option to book a call with me if they want a more like one-on-one sort of experience. That happens on a Wednesday. I also have a VA who books me anywhere between 10 to 18 calls, like sale calls a week. I also do them on a Wednesday. So Wednesdays are very much like phone calls, communication. Thursday, back in the gym, and Friday, programming, weekly check-ins. And then, unfortunately, my whole weekend is usually check-ins too.
But so some people, and I sort of seen Jesse there, he's sort of like, whoa. And it's really funny because if you listen to the first intro of this, you're like, oh, I've just been lucky. It just happens. And it clearly just does not fucking happen, Madie. It's like you work very, very hard. But so obviously, like with this, there are a couple of things you've said along the way. Is like obviously you've got a fucking tremendous work ethic, which is great. You're also very set up and systemized and structured. How do you not just completely burn out and think fuck everything?
I do.
Yep.
Then I go on a holiday and I'm fine. So
Do
me
you
and my
get to that
partner.
point, or do you just wait till it happens, or do you plan in advance?
Look, I used to get to that point, and I've also got lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, and it's chronic fatigue. So I hit burnout a lot sooner than a lot of people, but I think having that kind of makes me more aware. So I've hit burnout a few times, and you definitely think, fuck this, like I don't want to do this anymore. But then I think, I could be in a 9 to 5. I think I'll just toughen up and get over it, and then I'm just fine. But now me and Jai, we make the effort to book a holiday. So we always have something to look forward to. And my clients know every 2 months I have a week off. I work online, of course. I probably work more than I would in a normal week, but it's on my own schedule. But yeah, I've always got something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you feel like, obviously, like you've gone from in person, you've grown to where you are now. Do you feel like, let's say you had to take this on from day one where you are now, would you be able to handle it, or do you feel like you've developed the capacity to handle what you're doing right now?
I've definitely developed the capacity. I think you grow with your business growing. You just learn to deal with it.
Yeah. Is there anything you've sort of picked up along the way where you're like, fuck, I should have done that differently, or something you would have done more of?
Oh, 100%. There would have been 1,000 things that I couldn't even remember now. I think I used to do, I know a lot of coaches use like Loom videos for check-ins. I tried doing that, but it wasted so much of my time when, again, we'll go back to my avatar. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to check the emails. They're not going to, they're not going to do that. So now I just do, a 1-minute WhatsApp message, like a voice message, 2 seconds, 1 minute, whatever. It's so much quicker. So little things like that where you try to, take advice from other coaches, but you realize, oh shit, I'm actually a little bit busier than them. That takes me a lot of time. I'm not going to do that. And you find your own way again as you go with your business. But yeah, I'm sure there would be a million things.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. Now you're in your own gym. So how did that come about? And like, what are your plans with the gym?
I don't know how it came about, to be honest. I met my partner about 6 months ago. We both did the same thing. And we just said, fuck it, should we just go? Actually, what happened was World Gym, I was growing out of my facility at Worlds. I was wanting to do community events and stuff. They just didn't have the facility, or they wanted me to pay even more rent. I was already paying like $280 a week. They were milking me, and I was like, I'm smarter than that. I'm going to go get my own facility. Jai was in the same boat at Good Life. And we found a gym in our industrial area, which costs us half the amount of our commercial gyms. Obviously, we had to outlay probably about $100,000 for equipment. Obviously, that's up front. But obviously, if you think about that investment in your business, my girls love it. And I'm actually getting inquiries because it is the only private training facility here in Perth. So it's just building on that brand.
Is it female only, or what sort of branding are you going with the facility?
It's not female only, but when it's PT, it's just me and Jai here. So there's 4 of us in the facility, so it's very private. We do have like a fight club here at night, so there's a lot of like young kids doing like boxing and Muay Thai and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of where we want to go with the gym, we did go down the group class, very much like Brad's style gym, because that's what I know, that's what I grew up with. And we started running Facebook ads, and our Facebook got hacked and we lost money. So that really threw a spanner in the works, and it made us really take a step back and re-evaluate what we want to do. And we've really came to the decision to flip it all on its head. We're no longer doing group classes. We're going to take an online approach, but do a hybrid model. So we're going to sign people up for around $80 to $95 a week on an online program with one session per month. And that weekly amount includes them one monthly session. What that does is it keeps the facility private and more open for PTs, so we can actually bring PTs in to train clients out of our private training facility to help them get them leads, but also pay our rent. So it's more money saved for us. But also more time. Me and Jai, like, we want to travel. We really enjoy traveling. I'm a bodybuilder. Jai fights Muay Thai. And unfortunately, our hobbies include travel. Like, you've got to travel for these sorts of things. And we don't really want to be tied down for the next 5 years doing group classes. So when we got thrown into this so quickly, we went, we're going to do this, this, and this, but we didn't actually think about what we wanted in the future. And then our Facebook got hacked and all that. Took a step back and actually looked at the situation as a long-term plan rather than a quick money plan. And decided online's the way to go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's probably a bloody lucky thing that you have that organic and that brand equity there.
Yeah.
Because Facebook ads are obviously great. They can give you quick growth, but with that brand that you've built, you're able to bring in 10, 15 bookings a week just from your personal profiles. You're fucking killing it. Like, it's a great place to be.
Well, I think as well, like, Dill, you're always on my back about getting a VA. And how many times did I say no to you? Like 10.
Yeah.
When I finally got the VA, like, you realize how many leads are just sitting there. Like, honestly, he doesn't even work that hard. Like, he's booking people in 4 messages.
Yeah.
And I think, when you do have that profile and yourself as a brand, people are just so interested. And if your Instagram shows your personality, shows your passion, shows who you are as a person, if you get a VA on board, you're going to make sales. And, Edward cost me, I think last fortnight I paid him $300, including commission. And that's a return of over $55,000 over 12 weeks.
It's fucking wild, isn't it?
You do the maths.
I can do the maths very quickly. And so it's, like, that's almost a 1,000 times return. Like, it's ridiculous, 10,000 times return. So, like, when you look at it, because everyone talks about return on ad spend, that's what you do. You spend $600 on ads, you get $600 back, but then it's like the long-term acquisition of a client. But what you've just said now is because you've done the groundwork you've done, since you're 14, it's essentially 7 years where you've built a brand, you've put time into your social media. Now it's just harvesting it and just like making the most of something you've put a lot of fucking time into. If you were to sort of say to people out there sort of listening that do want to build a brand, because a lot of the times when PTs start, we all know how it is. You don't make money, you're broke as shit. You're like, I've just got to get cash. But the way you have been able to do it, to build this brand, and essentially now it's just exponential. What would be some of the, I guess, things you would sort of recommend for people to do?
Just be different. I think one thing that really skyrocketed my business is when I launched the Glute Project. That's actually my online coaching. So when people come onto my profile, they don't see, Madie Rebelo, online coach. Fuck, she's just another one. They say, the Glute Project, what's that? I'm going to inquire. Sold straight away. So I think having branding that isn't like everyone else is super important. Having respect for your business on your social media. Like, obviously we all drink, we all like have fun. Separate your personal life from your business. Like, if you want genuine leads on your Instagram, you've got to make sure those people are there for that reason. So it's obviously great to show like a work-life balance on Instagram, but I think making sure it's very business orientated. I think someone said to me the other day, it looks like you don't even run your own Instagram because it's all just business. And I was like, great, that's exactly what I wanted. So
brilliant.
Yeah, you don't want, 100 selfies and stuff like that. Like, keep it to the point, because as soon as someone comes onto your profile, those first 9 squares is how they're going to judge you. And if they like what they see, they're going to stay and they're going to give you the engagement that you need. So I think that's super important.
Yeah, that's wild. No, I really love it. And so now it's like, cool, you've done some cool shit. And I know this will be a hard question for you to answer. When you hang it all up, Madie, you know, I would like to say 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. You're only 21, so you probably don't know what's happening next year. I didn't know I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. But so let's say, hey, look, cool. You know, you take your studio to where you want it to be, you know, 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Where do you sort of, in 10 years time, actually, we'll flip it from this perspective. When you say, hey guys, I've done everything I want to do, or if a client was to come up to you 10 years from now, what would they say about the impact you've had, the way you've run your business, and essentially, you know, who you are as a person?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think, yeah, like you said, I'm still so young. So I've got no idea where I'm going to be in 10 years. To be honest, I would like to be working behind the scenes, like if I had it my way, this would be a franchise and I'd be over with you on the Sunny Coast deal, opening gyms to completely compete with you. That's where we want to be. I didn't even want to come home after the Sunny Coast. So yeah, I think I want to be working behind the scenes. Obviously, being a face-to-face like online coach, it's great, but it's not a forever thing. I don't have degrees. I don't have anything to really like fall back on, essentially. So I think definitely just making sure that this gym smashes it, and being able to hire a team for myself and mentor them and continue to grow my business that way.
Absolutely. There's two components to that. There's obviously your brand and then the business brand that will come into it. Your brand's going to push it along a lot further. But it's also too like your skill set now, because you're a great marketer, you know, you're good at sales, you obviously get great results for your clients. Your skill set now just turns to, and I would go and look outside of the fitness industry, maybe have a look at some of the top franchises in the fitness industry. But because essentially what you want to do now is like, hey, look, this is a franchise model. That's a different skill set. Go and have a look at other places outside of the fitness industry. What are the biggest franchises? What are the biggest things in the world that they do? You look at places like McDonald's, all of that sort of stuff, shit fucking products, but everything's the same. And it's like they've got a system, a process, a structure for every single thing. And that's why there's McDonald's on every single corner. And if that's what you want to apply in terms of your career, it's very, very exciting. There are some different intricacies with obviously fitness, and like you got to create staff and that. But the biggest thing will be just seeing this brand blow up. And fuck, I can't wait to see you over here on the Sunny Coast.
Oh, that's a plan.
I'll come and
Hopefully
train. I
I'll be
want a
there
booty as well. So.
Yeah, no, I think the plan's definitely. I think in Perth, like we're kind of a different breed over here. Like there's not much fitness industry, so I think that's why I always say I've been lucky. Like there's not a lot of people that do what I do. So I think being able to, you know, move over east, bring our brand over there, you know, blow up, you know, around the fitness industry, because there's no fitness industry here. It's small and it's saturated. So
a free piece of coaching, one way that I've always thought would be really good, especially if you have a great online brand, is that all you do is you just test little bits of local sort of pockets. So it's like, hey, Sunny Coast girls, you know, Sunny Coast girls, would you like to do like a boot camp or something like that? Maybe you run a targeted ad in that location. You get 20 to 30 clients that are already there. You've already got a business. So it's
100%. That's exactly right. And I noticed that as well. My sister, she works in musical theatre, and she had to move over to Sydney for a little bit. And she's got very severe mental health problems. So I moved over there with her for a little period of time just to make sure she was comfortable. I was training at a gym in Sydney. I got clients just from training there, just through posting that on social media and tagging that gym. So now my brand's
we're the same. Like me and my mate were training at a World Gym here, and we've got clients from the World Gym, which is cool.
Yeah, it's so easy. You just got to put yourself out there and not care about 100%. What people think.
Yeah. Quick question from Jess. What is your actual check-in process? Is it messages? What do your calls look like? What do you sort of do there?
So on a Wednesday, I have a group chat with all of my clients where we do like our daily accountability and all that stuff. On a Wednesday, I send in a big message. It's a copy and paste. It's the same message every single week. And it says, hey team, blah, blah, blah. Here's your check-in form. That's through Jotform. In that same message is a link to my Calendly to book a one-on-one coaching call. And then there's also a link to book a PT. They have 3 days to return that to me. So it's sent on a Wednesday, it's due Friday, 5 p.m. I then respond, whoever actually does their check-in first, I work my way through them over the 3 days. It comes to me, like Jotform emails it, or you can like log in on the actual Jotform and see the response. I then pull up the response. If I'm being honest, sometimes I don't even like read through it. I punch in the numbers, bring up their progress photos and talk about it. I read it, I elaborate, on to the next. I think unfortunately when I don't have staff, so it's just me, so it is very much, I just need to get through it. I have a spreadsheet with all my clients, and once a month I do a very detailed check-in. So I actually go deep in depth with them, because week to week, we all know not a lot changes in a week anyway, especially with Gen Pop clients, but it's just important to make sure they're getting 1 monthly, very in-depth check-in.
And what questions, what sort of depth do you go to with that?
It's simple, very, very simple. Just like, what was your weight? What was your highlight? What's your goal? How are you going to achieve that goal? What can I do as a coach? What did you struggle with? Anything you love on your program, anything you hate on your program. Very, very simple.
Yeah, it gives you everything you need, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's often the less you ask, the more you're going to get back, which is
yeah.
great.
Well, you want people to do it. You don't need it to be complicated.
Absolutely, absolutely. Team, any questions for Madie?
Yeah, sorry, Madie, just to elaborate on that there. You said like you go in, like, is it all on calls? Because you just said you didn't do looms. So
Yeah,
like, do they do a check-in form and then do you give them a call, or?
Yeah, no, I definitely don't call every single client. If they book in a call, then that's when I'll call them in that time. If it's just like your general like check-in and they haven't booked in a call, it's just a voice recording to their WhatsApp.
Ah, okay, cool. Because like,
Yeah.
I love Loom and I've been using Loom, but I also think there's some ways around it, because like not everyone, or it's obviously a time thing as well. So I was keen to obviously see like, well, how are you actually doing that if you're not giving them like a call or a Loom? So that makes sense.
Yeah, if I need a little bit more than a voice message, I'll actually video myself talking. So if there's like form checks that they need or something I need to explain, like, and them to see me, I'll just record myself on my camera and send it to them that way.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
No worries.
I've got one, Madie. I was just looking at your Instagram and it said that you've got premium online training. Do you have more than one thing that you're offering, or is it just a good catchy name?
It's all the same. They don't know that though. So my premium online coaching, my normal online coaching, all of it's exactly the same, just all different markets. So you're grabbing everyone that wants that thing. The only thing that differs is I do meal plans, and I actually do my meal plans. It's actually really smart. Leah taught it to me. It's that Clean Life. They create like a little mini ebook. They give you recipes. They pre-generate meal plans. But because that costs, I think it's about $100 a month. The only thing that changes is if they want a meal plan with their program, it goes up $20. But obviously that's determined in the consultation anyway.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very smart. It's the perception of branding too. And I know we sort of talked a little bit about this, is where like if you position yourself as Louis Vuitton, you'll get Louis Vuitton clients. If you position yourself as McDonald's, you get McDonald's clients. So that's amazing insight right there in terms of the perception of value, which is incredible. Team, we will, Kylie, did you have a question there, mate?
No, I'm just itching my head.
Cool. Madie, mate, I really, really appreciate your time today. You're an incredible young lady and you're doing big things. And I look forward to, mate, seeing you bring it on over to us at the coast.
Yeah, I need to come back ASAP because Perth is shit.
Yeah, the sunny coast is like, honestly, I cannot believe how amazing it is up there.
I know.
Awesome, mate. I love your work. Keep up the good work, and I thank you once again for your time. And awesome. We'll talk soon. See you guys. Awesome. Bye.